Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sci-Fi Collective. My name is Jude.
And I'm Wayne, and we are going to be discussing, surprise, surprise, you've already read it in the description, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Yes, we are indeed.
So,
We
um,
are we are recording on the Friday night. Friday the what are we on? Friday the 20th of December, and it came out on the Wednesday night at
on the
midnight, and then
midnight,
and
yeah.
then obviously all day the Thursday, which is when we both went to go and see it.
hmm Yeah, we both went last night to go and see it, and I think maybe should we do just an initial thoughts, spoiler free, like just of whether we liked it or not, or should we just go in all out
I
spoiler
think
tastic?
Yeah, I just think spoilers all over the place. We've already said to each other off air, like, let's not try and make this video too long for everybody,
hmm
because I'm sure we'll be bringing it up on and off on YouTube and on the Trekmate podcast, even though it's not Trek. Um, so yeah, let's not worry about not spoiling it. Let's just spoil it as much as we want. So there you go. We're
Okay.
telling you now, people.
Here is your fair warning. If you haven't watched The Rise of Skywalker, don't watch this. Come back
Yeah,
once you have,
yeah.
because we're going to
Watch it when you've
spoil it.
finished watching it. Yeah.
What I will say to you though is I think it's definitely worth watching.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead and watch it.
yeah,
Definitely. There was
yeah,
there was never any way, but I wasn't going to go and watch it.
yeah.
That's for sure.
No, definitely. So, okay, what was your? Let's go for initial feelings of the film, initial
Bef
thoughts
Before
after,
going into it, or just after?
after, after.
Well, I don't know. Let me just tell you mine before,
hmm
because I've been in the same place for a while, and I think I've said it on our podcast where I do love Star Wars. Like I was really big into the original 4, 5, 6
hmm
trilogy. Absolutely loved them. Always will. Um, I was ready to be fully behind the prequels in the late 90s, early noughties, and like I struggled to accept that, like, God, these are nowhere near as good. It took me a long time to fully accept, like, what just happened there. Like, that was not the same. That was not as good. But I still
hmm
I like things about them, but they're not what
hmm
the 4, 5, and 6 were. But by the time we finally got round to, what is it, 7, 8, 9,
Yeah.
or episode 7, I was very excited for it.
hmm
I think I had very positive things to say on our podcast when we weren't necessarily doing YouTube at that time. Um, and I think it was just because that excitement level had been allowed to build, and you knew all those characters were coming back. But with both of the last two films, I've had the same experience where I've gone to the cinema, really bloody enjoyed it, and more so with episode 8, the last one. Um, I kind of realized days or weeks after, like, it wasn't like the prequels where like I was like, what was that? But it was like I really enjoyed that in the cinema, but how quick do I want to see it again on DVD or
hmm
Blu-ray or Netflix or whatever? And I think with episode 8, I've never ended up watching it for a second time, even though there was lots of stuff I enjoyed. It just never happened, and I've had the opportunity. It's been on all these TV apps, and every time I'm just like, nah, I won't watch it right now. Watch it another time. And that's just told me something that as much as I love Star Wars in general, I'm just a little bit Star Warsed out.
hmm
I'm a little bit exhausted with it. And that's how I was kind of feeling before I went into seeing episode 9, where I was like, I'm sort of looking forward to this. There's no way I'm going to miss it. I've got to watch it as soon as possible so I'm not hearing spoilers from everyone else. I want to see it for myself. I tried to be positive going into it, into the cinema, and I again, just like the other two before it, I really enjoyed my cinema going experience. But this time, I kind of wasn't kidding myself. Where when I came out, this time I was more realistic. Where it's like, yeah, I probably won't watch that for a while
hmm
now, just like the other ones. But yeah, so yeah, I just had to tell you what my thoughts were going in, where they're sort of similar to what they were coming out. But there's
Yeah.
there's a lot to talk about in between, I suppose now.
Oh
But
no,
you
definitely.
tell me yours then. What
Well,
were you thinking before you went in? Was it any different to what it was when you came out?
I was looking forward to it. I
Mm.
was looking forward to it, and I would say that
As much as
I
Picard?
no, but that's a bit of an unfair stick to hit it from because
Half
once,
as much as Picard? A quarter as much?
no, well,
A
maybe a fifth, but
fifth. Okay, no, that's fair.
because I think once again, like you just said, with Picard, it's something that's been stewing for the past 15 years or whatever it is since Nemesis.
Yeah.
So it's an anticipation that has been building for a long time. Where with Star Wars, we had the last one. What was it? 2017 or 16?
I feel like there's been one, at least one every year just lately.
But
But
that's if you
sometimes it's been
include
the
Solo and
Star Wars stories, yeah.
yeah.
Which
So
personally, I've actually enjoyed Rogue One the most. That's the only one where I have actually watched it twice since seeing it in the cinema. So a total
mhm,
of 3 times and enjoyed it every time, that one. But
yeah.
I think that's because it's so linked in to A New Hope.
hmm
But
Yeah.
anyway, that's a talk for another time.
No, I totally get that. Um, I came out feeling I enjoyed it. Um, I felt it was good. I felt it could have been stronger in certain places, but then also I it's strange because I enjoyed it, but at the same time I was slightly I was slightly just not really invested.
Yeah.
I was kind of indifferent in certain
I
ways.
think indifferent is a brilliant word to describe how I felt too. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of people are coming out that way. I've tried to avoid seeing stuff online, but from I've seen some like major negativity posts and stuff, but I'm trying to ignore them. But mostly that's what I'm seeing, where people are just like exactly what I've said. I didn't love it, didn't hate it,
Yeah.
kind of liked it, but
There's a lot of moments that I really liked. There's
yeah, yeah, there was moments that it's because of my love of those original films where there's moments where I nearly cried, where I was upset, like
mhm.
sad moments, sweet moments.
And also knowing that Carrie Fisher has died as well,
Hmm.
and I wasn't expecting to see her in as much of the film.
Yeah, me neither, but they obviously filmed as much as they could with her, and it was weird when I was watching it because I could kind of tell where like, okay, that was her real last scene, and that's where obviously the actress Carrie Fisher died. And then they had to kind of write it in because I know there was lots of script changes even during the filming of this film
Hmm
for different reasons, for lack of confidence in certain parts of the story. But obviously, one bit of it was the death of Carrie Fisher, where they were just like, okay, yeah, we can do the CGI young Carrie Fisher for Princess Leia, but I don't think they really wanted to do it for the older one who we were
hmm
now seeing. Um, and I wasn't even. I said to my eldest son, who went to watch it with me, um, I wasn't even sure if they'd like maybe changed her lines, because she just her last scene is where she's just talking to one of the rebels who are doing something on the computer, and she says like,
hmm
"Oh, I've got to go help Ben" or something like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe she didn't even say that. Maybe she said like, "Oh,
They
I'm going to send a transmission to."
they just dubbed over something entirely
Yeah.
different.
Because then it was like suddenly you just had what looked to me to be a completely different actress was like, I'm just gonna go lay down on this bed
Hmm
and go and telecommunicate, whatever it is with Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it. And to me, like, and my son agreed with me. He said the same thing, which I thought was cool, but he came up with it. The fact that she did that and she knew that she was going to spend, like one of the other characters said, she's going to spend her last bit of energy to do this as her final mission.
Yeah.
Um, and all she said was fucking Ben. She just went,
Yeah.
Ben, and it didn't even sound like Carrie Fisher or Princess Leia. It sounded like someone else. And we both said to each other, me and my son, like, they could have had us say all sorts of things. And my son Kyra, he came up with some good line. I forgot what it was. And I said, for me, the line I would have picked was like, Ben, you're our only hope. Why the fuck did they not get her to say that? They could have just taken it from the
Mm-hmm.
original film and just cut it slightly. And
Yeah.
then that would have had people in tears,
Mm-hmm.
like hearing that line, instead of just Ben. So what does Ben mean?
Yeah.
Like he could have just been, oh, leave me alone. Like
Mm-hmm.
it still sort of worked, but like, yeah, it was obvious to me that that's where that unfortunate real life death happened, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
oh,
because you're right. The setup for that then had to go to another character to then try to explain what uh, she was going to do without really making that much sense.
yeah,
Because at that point, Leia hadn't been looking weak or
no,
anything. So
she's just a usual general self, like
yeah,
head of head.
obviously war torn and
Hmm.
like slightly haggard, but
Yeah,
other than that, not weak in any sort of sense.
no, not
So
at all. No, it was
yes,
kind of out of nowhere, but obviously,
do you know what I I wanted that planet to be? I was like, okay, and then that's how they're getting rid of Leia. They're getting one of those destroyers to blow up the planet
mm, yeah, that that
because
that could have been interesting. Yeah.
yeah, because that's just how I assumed they were going to write her out. Is like, well, she,
I never really thought about it going in. I knew that they were going to have to do something, but I just, as I've said, like, I wasn't overly looking forward to this. I knew I was not going to miss
mhm,
it for anything, but I couldn't be bothered anymore to speculate about
mhm,
what's going to happen to the different characters. I'll just wait and see what happens. I even went out of my way to avoid trailers. The only trailer I saw was Ray jumping
mhm,
over a TIE fighter type thing, which turns out to be Kylo Ren in
mhm.
his special TIE fighter type thing.
Yeah, it's okay. So let's talk about some like points that we enjoyed then because
Can I just get two things in what I
go
wanted
for
to
it.
get in?
Go on.
During the film, there was two comedy films which I absolutely love, what I couldn't stop thinking about.
Mhm.
One comedy film I couldn't stop thinking about, well, not couldn't stop thinking about, thought about three or four times throughout the film. As soon as I saw them and as soon as I heard their name,
Mhm.
like six or seven guys following Kylo Ren about called the Knights of Ren, and they're all
Monty
basically
Python.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
all I could think. So every time those guys were on
Mhm.
screen in my head, I'm just going nee, nee.
Yeah.
Just everything they were doing was just had that in my head. So that made me laugh all the way to the end because they're there right to the end, but only in little bits.
Yes.
So yeah, that amused me. But the other thing, and I think this is going to hit home with a lot of people once I say this. They may have
Mhm.
even felt this for the last two films. But the one film I couldn't stop thinking about, like 90% of the time I was sat in that seat, is Spaceballs.
Yes.
So much of that film just reminded me of Spaceballs, where like so much of the dialogue and like the story just being a little bit all over the place, especially the stuff with the Emperor, just really felt like Spaceballs, where
Very over, yeah, very over the place. I think that's what was getting me a bit in the cinema was it was all very fast paced,
mm,
lots and lots of little like scenes
I think they
that
they don't want to disappoint or lose the new, very, very young audience, which I
mhm,
think is kind of fair enough to an extent. Like, that's who they want. They want the new generation of proper kids to be asking their mum and dads, like, I want Star Wars merch.
yeah. And but the thing is, it just felt like s- a lot of these scenes were just kind of rushed and
Yeah,
didn't feel like they had enough time to actually breathe and let you
yeah,
experience those moments.
yeah.
And
I mean,
and
I felt like the Emperor scenes were comical to me. Really, I was literally laughing my head off with the Emperor and Rey and Ren at the end, Kylo Ren, Ben Solo.
mhm,
You know, just like he
I
kept changing his mind. It's like, oh, you're gonna rule. No, you're gonna rule with me. Oh, you gotta kill me, and you're gonna rule. Actually, no, the power of both of you is gonna make me more powerful. It's like, fucking make your mind up, man.
yeah,
Like you're supposed to be like the most powerful, knowledgeable guy on the dark side, and like, yet you can't make your mind up between these
yeah.
three or four things, and it's like, oh,
That's
suddenly I have the power to electrocute every single person in a 1,000 mile radius. Just like it was just so over the top. I was just laughing. Like my son's laughing on the left of me. I've got some woman I don't know laughing on the right of me.
funnily enough, there wasn't that reaction in my screening.
Really,
Yeah, there wasn't that reaction to that in my screening.
I couldn't help it. Like I just like I do have love and respect for Star Wars, but at this point, it's just like I'm watching a bunch of billionaires and millionaires.
Yeah, and yeah, this thing, the whole Emperor thing, kind of, it was just shoehorned in.
Mm,
It felt
yeah.
like it was really shoehorned in, and
I felt like
obviously,
a lot of that to me looked like it felt like a YouTube fan film or something.
mm,
Like it even looked like, someone could have just filmed it in their garage. Just like, yeah, come along, Ian McDermott, whatever his name is. Like, just film for 2 days in our garage. We've got a green screen. Don't worry, we'll put everything else in afterwards. You don't even have to act with the other actors. Like it could have been done like that.
but also if okay, so how's he meant to have? Because he turns around and says like that he came back from the dead,
Oh God.
didn't he?
It's like they don't even want to explain this stuff.
No.
Yeah, it's like, oh, because Star Wars.
Yeah,
Could
exactly. It's like no, I would have
have done
accepted it
loads.
more if they had shown a kind of flashback to Jedi and then see him like put a force like shield around him as he's
Do you know?
falling.
Do you know what just popped into my head? Peter Jackson, who did an absolute fantastic job with Lord of the Rings, but to squeeze three very long films out of The Hobbit. Can
Yeah,
you imagine what Peter Jackson could have done with Star Wars if the actors were on board and if Disney were on board and
hmm
had the patience and the cash to do
yeah,
that? They could have done so much. But I don't think that was ever the plan. The plan was let's do 3 films, let's establish these new actors,
hmm
Ray, Finn, and Poe.
hmm
Um, but let's
I'm
use all the old actors and squeeze every bit of juice and goodness we can out of them while they're still happy to be paid these wages.
yeah,
And that's what they've done. So they can move on to other stuff now and just pay whoever's left.
and the thing is, Poe, what's his name? Poe Dameron,
Don't
Poe
ask me.
Dameron.
I know he's Poe, but I can't remember.
Um, I'm really indifferent to him. I'm
Same.
I don't dislike him, and I
They're
don't
just
like
like they're
him.
just like little flavors, just little ingredients of older characters.
I love Ray. I think
I
Ray's.
do actually. Yeah, I like Ray, but still, like you just said, I wish they would tell more of a backstory.
Yeah,
And
and
plus, like, no offense to younger viewers or whatever, but it was like, okay, in the first 20 minutes of the film, like, yeah, she's the Emperor's granddaughter. I got it. And it's like every sort of 25 minutes, like, you don't know. You're going to accept it. You don't know what it is. And it's
you
like,
know she
she just
will.
had fucking electric bolts coming out of her fingertips. Like I
Mhm.
know what I know what the reveal is now. Like there's no point
Yeah.
keep like drip drab feeding us like
Mhm.
you're not gonna like it, but you gotta. It's like we know what it is. We know what it is.
Yeah. I tell you what I enjoyed from like the whole mishmash of quick scenes at the beginning. I was enjoying reading between the lines of JJ just saying like, no, fuck you. He's wearing the helmet. No, fuck you. Ray is someone. Just like amending all of the things that the last
Hmm.
film had like screwed up.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I enjoyed like getting the feeling of uh, JJ like basically dismissing the second film.
Yeah.
So I found that amusing. Um, and the thing is, because there were so many scenes going on in so many different places. At the moment, I can't recall all of them to turn around and say which ones I particularly disliked or not, or which ones.
No, I don't think there was anything where I was like, oh, I really didn't like that, or I hated that, or whatever. But like, yeah, it's hard to know what to say. I'm not overly negative or positive about anything.
Hmm.
Um, should we say some of the stuff we liked? Like I was saying, like there was stuff what made me uh
Hmm.
upset in a happy sort of way. Like one of my favorite lines, I don't know what the line was exactly. Just C-3PO saying to R2-D2, "I think you're my best friend," and like that was just like,
Yeah.
oh no.
Once again, the robots.
Yeah, yeah, the robots. No, I like that, but it's them that makes you feel that emotion. Just
I'm
two
not.
bits of metal played by two actors who actually absolutely hated each other. I know
Yeah.
Kenny Baker's gone now, but
Yeah. And also I liked the new little droid.
which
This
one? You mean
the new
Ian?
little ice cream cone one.
Yeah, no, I liked him too. But like, as soon as I saw him, like, I didn't think it in a really bad way. I was just thinking, that's more merch. I'll be
That's
seeing
it.
that in the Disney shop next week, if not tomorrow.
Of course.
But I'm fine with that. I don't care. I'm not buying it. If someone else wants to buy it, go ahead. Like, it did look cute and it sounded cute. It was funny saying like, oh, no, 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 thank you, no, thank you. Please don't touch me.
Yeah. Um, I don't think they used Lando Calrissian as much as they could have done.
No, they didn't. But who knows what his health issues are and stuff. He's
Yeah.
no spring chicken anymore either. I know
No.
that when he does the conventions, he's at an age where he's always in a chair for
Mhm.
everything. He's not standing up for nothing, and that's fine. That's fair enough.
Mhm.
Um, but no, I did get the feeling watching it that like they're almost trying to project him to be younger than he is.
Mhm.
Not just with the makeup and stuff, but just where he's standing, the way he's talking. But no, it was great to see him.
Yeah.
I did really like it, but it was more of the same what we've seen with the last two films, where I can say good stuff about it. I think one day I might say, "Oh, that was great," and another day I'll just be like, "Ah," where it's fan service, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
look who it is. Remember this guy? It's literally that. Like that is their purpose. So when you're in the cinema, it's like, hey, yeah, it is that guy. Cool. Wow. But then,
Yeah.
then if you are watching it on DVD at home, it's just like, yeah, yeah, I remember that bit, but what's really going on in the scene? Not a whole deal.
That's I felt there were certain bits where there was just it seemed like there were space battles for the sake of space battles
Mm, yeah,
r rather than like to forward any specific plot point.
yeah.
Because I'm trying to remember which one. It was early on because I went with my eldest daughter who's 8, and um it was one of the early space battles, and she's like, "Why are they fighting?" I was like, "I haven't got a clue.
Yeah. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know."
because it's Star Wars. Because Star Wars.
Yeah, because wars.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought the idea of like these two like kind of like maps that lead you to the Sith promised land was a
Mm,
bit of a strange concept.
yeah.
The only way that you find it is if you've got one of these two maps. You ain't gonna get. If that was the case, then how the fuck did he get so many stormtroopers?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? He's meant to be dead. No, well, he's in hiding after people think he's dead. How could he make that many ships without a whole army of people?
It's a ridiculous amount.
It's a ridiculous amount of ships. He didn't just force build them. He needs people
No.
to be manning them.
It just all seemed like all this was in real life, just decisions from money and just like what can we do?
I
What
think,
more can we bring up? Who else can we get in? And like um the Emperor reveals like, oh, Snoke was never real. He was me. Like everything's me. Every voice you've ever heard, he's saying to Kylo Ren, was me. It's like, oh, really? I don't think you were thinking that at the beginning of not episode 2, episode 8 or
yeah,
episode 7. I don't
7.
think you were thinking that.
No, because that's the thing. They showed like Snoke's body in a jar,
Mm.
didn't
It's like,
they?
oh,
So
they're my clones. And it's like, really? Was that the plan all along? I doubt it was, to be honest. I'm not
yeah.
gonna get pissed off about it, but it's kind of you know, kind of cool in a way, but at the same time, I don't believe that that was really the plan.
Mhm.
I think at some point they've just said, "Oh, can we get in McDermott?" Or sorry if I'm getting the actor's name wrong. I think that's his name.
Yeah.
And it's just like, "Oh yeah, he's in, he's in." He'll do it for 7 million.
Mhm.
He's only going to do 2 days in JJ's garage though, so we've got to make it work.
It's yeah. No, I just feel that, especially after what, because don't get me wrong, I loved a lot of his earlier work, but
Oh yeah, yeah,
especially with Trek and now this, it just for me, JJ just seems to go for the spectacle rather
yeah.
than.
But you don't know how much of that is outside pressure from these. Disney's the biggest company in the world.
Mhm.
You don't know how much of that is from them. Like, this is what we want you to do. You can take little liberties here and there, but this is basically what we want you to do.
I suppose
I
you
even
could say
feel
the
like,
same for CBS.
yes, yes, definitely. And
Yeah.
that's what I feel like when I was watching Star Wars, which is like, I imagine like a focus group or something, like these, like they've got all these different age groups to watch maybe like an animated version of the film to sort of say, do you like this? Is
Mhm.
this funny to you? Is this sad? Is this cool? Like when does their attention span drop off? When do they become bored? It's
Mhm.
like a mathematical equation. Like this is how we get it exactly right to make sure that the kids stay interested and
Yeah.
it's not about making the best film they can make. It's about that.
Yeah. No, I think you're right, and because the thing is, it's like, and also there was plenty of scenes that were there for fan service
Yeah,
as
but that
well.
that I've realized now, I've learned that like, yes, I do love that in the cinema,
Mhm.
but you can't watch it your second, third, and definitely if you did insist on watching 10 to 20 to 100 times, you can't sit there every single time and go, "It's Lando!" You
Yeah.
know, you
Yeah.
just can't.
It's like I wasn't expecting to see Harrison Ford.
I wasn't. I did pop for that. I was like, "Oh shit!" I
Yeah.
thought it was done. I thought it was done. But I tell you what I was thinking, because the way my brain works, when I saw him, I
Hmm.
thought, yeah, okay, I know he's getting millions of dollars for that. But for me, it felt like it was a little bit, well, this is what I'd like to think, that they brought him in for two reasons, which are the same reason in a way. That basically Carrie Fisher died,
Hmm.
and she would have been standing there if he
Yeah.
wasn't standing there. And also that he felt, yeah, he wants the money, yeah, I know that, but like also he felt bad that she was gone, and JJ
Hmm.
or whoever said like, would you mind, I know you didn't want to do it, but she was going to be there, she would have been like a spirit or whatever it is, a ghost layer, she
But not
can't do it.
necessarily. She would. She might have been there, like physically.
Yeah, that's a possibility too. Yeah, she could have been like, fly me out. That might have been the thing, rather than like, I'm going to force project or whatever it is.
Yeah, because
uh,
she might have been like, "No, I'm going," and
yeah,
then you would have had that scene of, is he going to kill his mum
yeah.
like he did?
Yeah, they are different possibilities. So I do think that's what happened with Harrison, which that made me feel good. Felt more good about Harrison Ford rather than Han Solo, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Because I don't think that was ever meant to be there. But it was still nice. It was still very nice to see him, very cool to see him.
Hmm.
Um
Yeah,
and
and
that I did I there was bits of the whole Kylo Ren Ben Solo story that I liked.
yeah,
And the Romeo and Juliet sort of thing going on with Kylo Ren and Rey.
and Ray. Yeah, I yeah no, because obviously that had always been um like pushed, like as you said, like the Romeo Juliet
Hmm.
esque story with them two. But with the whole Kylo Ren turning away from the dark side, I don't know if for me that personally just felt a bit too forced. Whether I don't
I
know.
I don't know. Kind of felt like that was gonna come inevitably, that was gonna happen. But I don't have to say spoiler alert because we said at the beginning. But I
Hmm.
think it ended the right way, because I kept thinking throughout the film, isn't this film going to end the exact same way the second one did? And if it
Yeah.
does, that's not good. Like that, people are going to moan about that. So in my head, I was thinking, he's got to die. He's got
Hmm.
to sacrifice himself, or he's got to actually die here for this
Hmm.
to actually be different from the second one. And that's what they did.
And also, then it kind of, well, it doesn't exonerate
It's not
him of
it's not
what
that
he's
simple.
done.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't exonerate him of what he's done, but at the same time, um, still, that's a point. He, when he died, obviously his thing, like his body, like returned to the
That was some
Force.
that was something I liked, is the fact that like they explained it for viewers of the film. Earlier on, when Ray and friends sort of
Hmm.
fell in some sort of sand pit underground, there was like a what they called a serpent, what just was just like a big
Yeah.
worm, fangs, and it had a cut on it for some reason.
Hmm.
And she just walked up to it and she healed it.
Hmm.
But then one of the others just said, "Oh, what did you do?" And she said, "Oh, I used some of my life voice. I spared some of my life and passed it on to the serpent."
Hmm.
So they made it very clear, like that's what I just did. And you're like, okay, that's coming up again.
Yeah, because that's
She
the
didn't do that for nothing.
no. When that scene played out, I did think I was like, okay, that is explaining something that is coming up.
And you could have guessed it if you'd really thought, but I didn't want to think about it. But
Hmm.
it it's kind of obvious when you think about it, like that it was going to be Kylo Ren, which it was. They were battling,
Hmm.
and I think does she shove her own lightsaber or his lightsaber through himself?
It's I think
Doesn't
it's
matter. It
hers.
doesn't matter, but it's straight through the belly. Like
Yeah.
it's a death kill
Hmm.
scenario, and like she clearly automatically regrets it,
Hmm.
and she's watching him die, and then she decides to to give him a bit of her life. No, don't think any words are spoken or anything because she's already said it earlier on. Um,
But also there was that moment of distraction for them because they felt Leia die.
yes, there's that, and then also they do talk after he comes back where she's basically saying, "Oh, I did want to take your hand in the last film or the film before
Yeah,
that,
but
but it was
Ben's.
Ben's hand, not Kylo Ren's." And then he said like, "Oh, Ben's dead," and she said, "No, Kylo Ren's dead," which is good because it's like, yeah, he kind of just died.
Hmm.
She just stabbed Kylo Ren,
Hmm.
but she's brought Ben back. So I did like that. I did think that was good.
I hadn't really thought of it that way.
Hmm
Which, yeah, no, you're probably right.
I did like that. I thought like maybe that might have been something that existed all along, that was always planned to happen that way. It's just the things happening around it that had to change or
Hmm.
were forced to change for different reasons.
Yeah, I enjoyed the scene of, well, obviously, when it came to Emperor Palpatine containing all of the evil Sith that had come before him.
Mm,
Um, I was like, at that point, I was like, really,
yeah,
really. But then I understood why they done it because then they wanted Rey to be the embodiment of all
yeah,
of the Jedi.
yeah,
So I understood why they done it, but then at the same time I was like, well, no, if he contained all of the Sith, then why was bad shit still happening
yeah.
when he wasn't on the scene? But then that's when people throw in the thing of, oh yeah, but he was still around.
Mm,
So yeah, I understand that, but I enjoyed the tiny scene of Rey, just because you got to hear all of the previous Jedi that had died.
yeah.
The biggest kick I got was Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, I'm not sure if I took him in or not.
Yeah.
What was his line?
Oh, is it, pretty much they were all just saying like we're all in you or whatever. It was just a
Oh,
bit dirty.
bit kinky, yeah. Out.
You've got all of us boys inside you, Ray.
Nice.
Niceties.
Anyway, let's move away from that.
Yeah,
Um, what else
yeah.
do I want? I liked I think there was some real animatronic puppets and stuff. Felt
Hmm.
like Jim Henson style. I like seeing some of that. There was also a lot of CGI stuff going on, but I'm always happy to see the real life stuff.
I was happy. What is once again just fan service. I was happy to see the holographic chessboard.
Yes, yeah, yeah, that's always cool. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
And the
and
all things Millennium Falcon are
yeah,
cool, really.
exactly. Like Millennium Falcon fucking crashed a lot in this.
It did, and with that and Poe and Finn, it all seems a little bit cheesy. A lot of their dialogue, they're just like you know what they're gonna say before they say it. Like as soon as I saw a flying stormtrooper, I knew the next thing someone was gonna say is like, "Oh, they fly now," and it was like, "Oh, they fly now." It's like, "Oh God, I knew you were gonna fucking say that."
Yeah.
Like, I get it, I get it. It's for a younger audience. Like, yes, the fan service stuff is there for our generation older, but
Hmm.
it's ultimately for kids. I know, but
And also selling merch
yeah, yeah, and they will. They'll sell that as well. They'll be, they might not be backpacks in
with
Disney.
the, but they'll have
Definitely be the
a,
toys. Yeah,
yeah, no, they will have that specific little ship with one stormtrooper that you whack a button and it flings another stormtrooper along.
definitely. I have no doubt. Yeah, and not only kids will buy it. There'll be people older than us buying that and loving it. And yeah, good
Oh,
for them,
definitely.
I say.
Yeah, exactly. But what did you think of the, because we always knew we was going to get Luke as a Force ghost come back.
Yes, that was inevitable. I actually said to my son, like they missed a trick there. I really wish they'd had a Force ghost of the space cow with green milk. That would have made it for me to have Luke just turn to that thing and just go, I still want some green milk, please. Come on, dispense the milk.
Fucking hell.
They missed out there. That was my favorite part of the last film.
Yeah.
It really was. I remember looking around the cinema in that one, just going like, "Oh my God, is no one else finding this as funny as I am? It's
Yeah.
ridiculous."
Oh,
I
you
wish
got.
that had been in there. Or no, no, that's the thing. No, that I also said that to him. Like one thing which I thought was stupid, and my son said the same, is that now the Force ghosts can pick stuff up.
Yes, that was a
Luke's holding a
new
lightsaber,
thing.
so why not just fucking join in?
Yeah,
Why not come along and kill the Emperor yourself if you can just stand there and hold lightsabers?
that's the thing. If you can hold stuff, then why not just project yourself into Kylo Ren's like
Do what you want.
sleeping chamber, pick up
You'd,
his lightsaber, and stab him in the head?
yeah, you'd think you'd have hundreds or thousands of ghost Jedis just doing what they want.
Yeah.
But no. Yeah, so like, yeah, the space cow with the green milk wouldn't even have to be a ghost. It could be a real one. And he's still
Mhm.
drinking milk.
That's it.
Direct from the teat.
Just a Force ghost suckling.
You just see it dripping down his neck, like through his neck into nothingness.
Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
have a real stomach anymore, but I
it's
just
still
can't give
worth it.
this habit up. Yeah.
I still would. But yeah, no, I never really considered that with regards to the Force Ghost. But yeah, at the time I did think like, oh, that's a thing now.
I was glad to see him though. I knew they were going to do it because he's done interviews for the film and stuff, so it was obvious that he was coming back.
Yeah,
Just last little time.
and I love Hamill, so
Oh, I do. Yeah, like my favorite Star Wars actor, without a doubt. Like character and actor.
hmm
He is Star Wars, both the character and the actor.
yeah, and
When I
uh,
was a kid, like some kids wanted to be Han Solo, or they always wanted to play with the Han Solo figure. I wasn't. I
hmm
was Luke. I always liked Luke better, definitely.
yeah, another fan service. Well, whether it was fan service or just going full circle,
Mm.
I enjoyed the going back to Tatooine ending.
Yes, no, I like that too. Yeah, I thought that was nice.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that I like the last line.
Um, I was expecting the last line.
I was expecting it, but I thought it would have been more brave. There's an old lady what says, "What's your name?" And she says Ray, and then thinks, and then because someone had been asking her earlier on, "What's your family name?" and she said, "I don't have one." But she
Yeah.
thinks, and in that time, there's three choices she could make. They could be really brave and have her say, "It's Ray Palpatine." It's like, I'm
Mhm.
taking ownership of this name.
Yeah.
Yes, I have the shittiest granddad in the universe that has ever
Mhm.
lived, but I'm taking ownership of this.
Yeah.
Or I can say Skywalker because that's the name of the fucking film, and
And
that's what
also
who the
it's
Rise of the Skywalker is. But
and
I would have preferred it if she just said, "Just Ray."
yeah.
I'm straight. That's what I would have liked.
Mhm.
Why not?
She doesn't need to, in that
Yeah.
sense. Then it's like I don't need to like have come from anywhere in
Or just
particular.
say I'm Ray Windu, motherfucker.
That's it.
But
But
not Ray Skywalker. I was just like, oh, okay.
yeah, because that's the thing. I know that then that's the scene of like, oh, it's the family that you choose and the one you're born into and
But
everything.
Anakin was still a dick.
Yeah.
It all
Yeah.
started with him.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. And also, oh, well, no, Ben was a solo.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was, but he had Skywalker blood.
Yeah. No, exactly. Or it would have been cooler if she was just like Ray Palpatine.
Yeah.
Friday.
That would be the ultimate ending.
Yeah. Just be like, she's decided it's not worth it.
Oh, one thing I half told you I was going to mention tonight. I said I was going to bring something up. I'll just bring it up now. It was just a really weird coincidence. When I was watching the film and it was the end, Palpatine, Emperor Palpatine was dead, and Rey had come back down to whatever that planet was on,
Mm-hmm.
where Charlie from Lost,
Yeah,
aka Pippin or Merry, whichever one he
yeah.
was, um, and they're all congratulating each other and all that stuff. I actually thought to myself in my head, like I was thinking, like, oh, I'm going to be reviewing this later on with Wayne, or talking about it at least in the YouTube video. And I just thought, oh, it'd be a funny thing to say to Wayne. Oh, you know what this scene needs? Needs more uh, Derek Lyons and Nick Joseph. I thought that to myself, just like a silly joke, but I'd just
Yeah.
say to you, which only you and a certain amount of other people would go, ha. But just as I said that, like seconds later, seconds after I thought that in my
Here's
head,
a medal of Yavin.
yeah, one of the characters, like the little alien lady, like gives Chewie the Medal of Yavin, which is really nice. It's a fan service thing because he never got it
Mm-hmm.
back in episode 4, and it's like, oh, he finally got the medal. But it was just like, oh my God, that's so weird.
Yeah.
But I just thought that the two guys that were if anyone doesn't know, those two actors we had at our first ever convention we had on,
Mm-hmm.
and they're the medal bearers, and yeah, it was just weird. And I just had to laugh when I
You
saw that. I was just like,
you
that's
willed it
bizarre.
into existence.
Yeah, it's strange. It's strange, and actually a sort of nice moment.
How would that alien lady have known to give it to Chewie though?
I know. I've been watching the films.
I think yeah, she must have been a real fucking buff on what went down in A New Hope.
And she's a little bit too late as well because there was another Star Wars actor loss in the last year as well, Peter Mayhew, that I'm guessing that's not him.
Oh
It's a
no, it wouldn't be.
Swedish basketball player now or something like that.
I don't even know if in The Last Jedi that would have been Mayhew.
No, I think he just came back for the episode 7, whatever that was called. I honestly lose track of the names now sometimes.
Shit, that's the thing. What was it called?
It doesn't matter.
That's
Honestly,
bad.
don't worry about it.
Yeah, no,
I keep joking about it now. I put like Facebook posts out like saying like, I'm going to see the revenge of the of the last hope of the Jedi Sith Order. You just lose
yeah,
track. Like it all blends into one.
yeah, no, it was basically A New Hope Part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Reprise. New Hope reprise.
yeah, exactly. And the thing is that
I will
I
watch all
don't,
of these films again, but just not right now.
I don't,
I'm in no hurry.
other than Ray, I don't care enough about the other characters.
Oh God, no. No, they're so generic and cheesy and just like I said, just little bits of other characters. Where I know there's a little bit of that with Rey as well. Obviously, she represents the good side of the Force, so she's got similarities with Leia and Luke. I get that, I'm not denying that, but
Mm-hmm.
she has her own thing going on. She's likable and has her
Mm-hmm.
own little story going on as well. What wasn't there necessarily for those other characters. Not in the same way, anyway.
I think overall, I think for me, with like the prequels, with like 1, 2, and 3, I think at least after watching 7, 8, 9, what I appreciate from the prequels is they didn't feel rushed. They were willing to take their time
Oh no,
to,
God, they bored the hell out of you at points with different
yeah,
things, to try and tell whatever story it was George wanted to tell at that time,
yeah,
like it or not. Like that did happen.
yeah. And the thing is, it's like, um, yeah, they could have done with being sped up a bit, but at least they allowed you the time to consume the story, possibly care, and that where this one for me just seemed very too fast paced We're going to
It
this
was.
planet. We're going to that planet. We're going back to this planet. We're going back to that planet.
It was, yeah, and I really feel like it's just the fan service for the older fans. Remember this, remember that, remember this, remember that, and for the kids, it's just like spaceships, lightsabers, spaceships, lightsabers.
That's the
You
thing.
know,
Yeah, it
there's
would
a little bit of talking, but it's not on for too long because there's lightsabers again.
exactly, and that's the thing. It would have been all of the bloody like head honchos going. Kids nowadays have got a short attention span, and
It
like
is. That's what I said. I think it's a mathematical equation where they're
all
like,
of all
you
of
can
the
only have this much amount of time for the dialogue. You can only give this amount of time to this character. You've got to
this thing.
move on.
The kids, they're into their TikToks. They want it to be within a minute, so every scene now has to be a minute long to keep their attention.
Yeah. Oh, one of the final, second clips from the final scene. What made me laugh because I was just like, I've been into Star Wars for so long. I know this is going to pop some people, make them go, yeah, and it's going to make some people go, oh, fuck off. They had the Ewoks
Ewoks.
at the end
Oh,
go, yeah,
I
we
love the
somehow know
Ewoks.
that we just won again.
Yeah,
Just
that's
make me laugh.
how would they even fucking know
Yeah.
what's yeah, because yeah, no,
They don't
I
have
was
the technology. How can they bloody see it? Like, even if you'd seen some sort of explosion in the sky,
they'd
but it
just
just
be like,
looked
what
like a
the
tiny.
fuck's that?
Yeah.
They wouldn't be turning around thinking like, yeah, we just won a war.
But for me, with the Ewoks, like I was young enough to really enjoy it when I
I
saw
love the
Return of the
Ewoks.
Jedi, and when I was old enough in my teens to know that people 5, 10 years older than me hated the Ewoks when I was loving them, just made me laugh. I was just like,
Yeah,
really? What was it
yeah,
really that bad? Like it's
yeah,
just made like in Space, Simon Pegg's character, like, and Bill Bailey absolutely fucking hate the Ewoks.
yeah.
And it's like, no, I never really saw it, but it's probably because I was a kid, I guess.
Yeah, no, I love the Ewoks.
Yeah, I never had a problem with them.
And th but then once again, that's when older generations hated Jar Jar Binks, but younger generations had no issue with Jar Jar Binks whatsoever.
I sort of grew to hate Jar Jar Binks, where when I saw it at the cinema, I was like, this is different.
Mm.
But then as I got a bit older, I was like, oh God, that was fucking weird. Like, that really didn't go.
Yeah,
My wife still loves him and has a laugh about him, but the older I get, the more the piss I take out of that character.
yeah,
But
no,
George dropped it. He lost faith in that character, but I'm guessing that was because of the fans, because we had truly entered the internet generation by then,
yeah.
where people are just like going, "I fucking hate this. Stop it.
I,
Change it."
I can't remember where I read it or heard it, and I'm not sure if this was an official theory on like the intention of the character. But I
Mm.
did at some point hit like the theory of they were intending to make Jar Jar a Sith.
I've seen the YouTube videos. I don't know what channel it is, but I recommend people search that out. I
Yeah.
did like that. That did make me laugh. Why not? When you look back at those films, like what would they have to lose?
Yeah, exactly. They wouldn't have had anything to lose whatsoever.
I will say I've kind of said it in this talk slash review thing, but with this third film of the new trilogy, like it did make me like the Kylo Ren Ben Solo character more. It's like, okay, that did flesh that character out a little bit,
Hmm.
where that was kind of his destiny. He was constantly always torn, but that's kind of the story of this film, but like the light side wins.
Yeah.
Love wins.
Hmm.
Good will always defeat evil in the end, which
Yeah,
is exactly what they do with Return of the Jedi.
exactly. And also, it's about overcoming what you was what you was born into as well. It's
Mm.
like because whether it's him like always being obsessed by his granddad and then
Yeah,
turning good again like his granddad,
yeah,
or whether it's Ray like refusing Palpatine.
Hmm.
The crane thing keeping him alive was interesting.
It just reminded me of like anime manga type films.
Hmm.
But again, that crane thing just made me think like the whole thing was just done in a garage. Like he's just sat in a computer chair doing that thing.
Yeah.
Like the only thing they've actually filmed is his face from the sort of chest
Hmm.
up, so they could do whatever they want with that. Even the makeup just looked like it was just someone just put some lipstick on his eyes and his mouth. Didn't look that good to
Hmm.
me compared to a lot of the other stuff going. I mean, so much of that film so visually impressive. Got to say that like that's one massive plus point I'll say for all the last three films and definitely this one. Like amazing visuals, all
Visually
this different stuff.
stunning. Like that's the thing. Space battles, visually stunning.
That's definitely one time you're 100% allowed to use that word.
Yeah.
Stunning. It is. It
Yeah.
truly is. You
And
can't
that's
get any better than that.
yeah. And like action scenes, they were fine. They were action scenes,
Hmm.
but
I really liked their lightsaber battle in the Death Star in the water.
yes.
Rey and Ren. It was like okay, like it's happened very quickly in their universe, but they've clearly both gotten a lot better at what. Well, I say they've gotten better. Rey's gotten better,
Hmm.
and Kylo Ren, he was good as he ever was, but he's starting to love her more or care about her more,
Hmm.
and he's clearly becoming a better guy. Like at first he just wants to kill her, and then in the second film he's like, "Oh, I quite like this girl," and in the third film he's like, "I really care about this girl. You know, I want to kill the Emperor, and I want her by my side, whatever that means. Whether that we're good or we're bad, we're probably going to be bad, but I want her by my side." And that's what he
Hmm.
keeps telling her. You know, it's like that's your destiny, and it shows. You know, so he's not fighting to kill. He's fighting to stop himself being killed. And occasionally might seem like he's going to do that, but I don't think he's ever really going to do that in this film. He doesn't want to kill her.
Yeah.
So it makes for an interesting battle, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. No. No. I agree. I enjoyed that battle, and
Mm.
I think Ray all the way through kicks ass. I
Oh
think
yeah, definitely. They have her doing all sorts of stuff in this film. She's really advanced in a really short time. Some real Marvel superhero stunt work stuff going on here.
oh, definitely, definitely, and
Maybe more athletic and crazy than any, apart from maybe Yoda. What they have Yoda doing in uh, is it Revenge of the Sith?
yeah.
Where he's just going absolutely mad. Apart from him, like yeah, I think she's the most athletic, crazy flip stuff going on
Well,
than anyone.
Yoda is inside her, so so.
This little
But
green saber.
that's it. Oh dear. Um. So yeah, I think that pretty much rounds up
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
what
I
we say.
enjoyed watching the film. I've enjoyed talking about it and just like at the beginning of this chat, I don't feel any different after this like,
No,
oh, actually I really love it or actually I really hate it. It's just like
I enjoyed it.
it was enjoyable. I'll watch it again eventually, but I've no idea when.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
and for the people who are watching and listening to this, like, no, it's just watching, isn't it?
yeah,
If you loved it, that's great. If you hated it, that's fine too.
yeah. No, exactly. I think so. And well, that's the thing. There's room for everyone. Whether you hate these movies, it's
I,
fine. You've still
I
got the
I
original trilogy.
I know this is the typical cheesy YouTube thing to say, but I do look forward to seeing people's comments down
Hmm.
below.
Yes, remember
I
to
really do.
comment and let us know what you guys think
I'm sure
because
some of them I might read and go, "Oh, shut up," but we'll
there's always an
see.
element of that.
Yeah, we know where we are.
Yeah, exactly. But No, it'll be interesting to see what people's thoughts are generally, whether they're ambivalent to like it or not. Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting to see what you think. So remember to click the like button if you've stuck with us for this long, and remember to subscribe to the channel. But thank you very much for watching, guys. I've been Wayne.
I've been Jude. And something.
We still haven't figured out the ending.
Well, may the force be with you. That'll be it.
Always.